Today's brief video, I want to share with you guys 5 benefits of choosing to stop smoking weed versus forcing yourself to quit or being forced to quit smoking. And throughout today's video, I want to place an emphasis on the word choice. Now, if you wind up enjoying the content in today's video, be sure to check out the video description or the pinned comment to learn more about our free or paid Addiction Mindset Recovery Coaching Program resources. I have a bunch of free PDF articles in there on how to quit smoking and take tolerance breaks and all that good stuff. Now, the first benefit of choosing to stop smoking weed is that you're breaking the mentality of, I have to do this. I have to quit. I have to stop. Growing up, I was in a household where both my mom and my dad didn't smoke, and my family was fairly anti-smoking weed. And they always told me, don't smoke, don't drink, don't do drugs, don't have sex, don't do those things, right? Especially when I was like in early college. So naturally, when you're being told not to do something, you want to go do those things, or at least that's how I was as an adolescent growing up. If you tell me not to do it, I'm going to want to do it all the more. So when it came to choosing to stop smoking weed in my first attempts to quit, I had told myself, you have to quit. You have to stop. This is how I was talking to myself. And I was talking to myself the same way that a parent would, or that a guardian would, or that maybe a teacher would, or that a disciplinary figure would have been speaking to me as an adolescent. And this is really, really bad because knowing myself, if I'm telling myself I can't do something, I have to stop, you can't smoke, what am I going to do? I'm naturally going to want to go against the grain of that conversation and do more of it. So that's the first benefit of choosing to quit smoking weed. I'm not telling myself that I have to quit or that I have to stop or that I have to do anything. I'm telling myself that I am making a choice, or rather a decision, to stop smoking, because that decision is rooted now in my best interest. But benefit number 2 of choosing to stop smoking weed is that choice puts you in a position of power and control. I think there's no worse feeling in life than when we feel helpless or out of control. When we don't make the choice to stop smoking weed, often we find ourselves quitting from a place of desperation and despair. And I think this is a really hard note to start a quitting journey on if we're in a place of desperation, brokenness, and despair. When it comes to addiction, and this is an extremely controversial opinion, but it is my opinion and I'm going to stick to it. When people told me that I had a disease, when people told me that relapse was part of the disease process, I viewed addiction as just like any other disease. I don't have a choice in this. I'm sick. Relapse is going to happen. And the more and more I adopted this point of view as addiction as a disease model, not really involving much of a choice, the more I consumed, because now I had a convenient excuse to never stop my consumption of cannabis. I had a very convenient excuse every time I chose to relapse, every time I chose to smoke again. When I viewed myself through the lens of addiction as a disease, I viewed myself as an individual that was broken, as an individual that had a disease to which no cure existed, and as an individual that was completely helpless. When I reframed my mindset and said, you know what? I do have a choice in this. I do have control over what's going to happen today. I do have control over what my future is going to look like tomorrow. And that control is rooted in the decisions that I'm going to make today. Suddenly, I had a lot more hope and a heck of a lot less excuses when it came to quitting smoking weed. So that's benefit number 2. Choosing to stop smoking weed puts us in a position of power and control versus a place of desperation, despair, and brokenness. Benefit number 3 of choosing to quit smoking weed is that there's less likelihood of a chance that we're going to be quitting from a place where we hit a rock bottom. A lot of people feel that you have to hit rock bottom when it comes to quitting an addiction, and this simply isn't true. If you're watching this and you're in your 30s, you're in your early 20s, and you're thinking about quitting, there's a good chance that right now life is pretty good, right? You're just getting your career started. You're just getting your future, your family started, whatever it may be. There's a good chance that you're not at a rock bottom moment. And if you're thinking about quitting, I would encourage you to explore that, because if we wait for rock bottom, if we wait for psychosis to hit, if we wait for cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome to hit, if we wait for us to be in a place of financial destitute where we just have all these horrible outcomes of addiction, right? Broken relationships, financial problems, major health problems, whatever it is. I would argue that it actually makes quitting a lot harder. People often talk about trying to find motivation to quit. How motivated do you think the person who has CHS, who has psychosis, whose income has been disrupted really, really feels? That person often feels helpless because they're in that place that's considered rock bottom. And I think it's even harder to get up and stand on our feet from a position when we're at rock bottom versus a position where maybe we're doing okay and we're saying to ourselves, hey, I think I'm capable of doing better. So I'm going to make the decision, I'm going to make the choice to stop smoking weed before I hit that rock bottom, because rock bottom is a very demotivating place to be in. I think it's a very challenging spot. Reason number 4, benefit number 4 of choosing to quit is by choosing to stop smoking weed, we're choosing to start pursuing other things in life. So my mantra while stopping smoking was, there's a lot of things I can do today. There's a lot of things I need to do today, but I'm simply choosing not to do this one thing just for today. For today, I'm choosing not to do that. I often say on this channel, quitting isn't about what you're giving up. It's about everything that you're gaining back in life. And I don't know what it is you want to pursue. Maybe it's your physical health, your mental health, your business, your career, your relationships, your faith. I have no idea. Some type of hobby. There's a lot of things, though, that you can choose to pursue today, or that you can choose to pursue tomorrow by choosing to opt out of smoking weed today. This is an exciting opportunity. This is an exciting time. It's not that we're focusing on the thing that we chose to put down, but we're focusing on all of the things that we're choosing to pursue by leaving that addiction behind us. Benefit number 5, and possibly the most important benefit of making the choice to stop smoking weed, is choosing forces discipline, willpower, and delayed gratification. If I have a disease of addiction and I'm just blindly making decisions because my disease is in control, because I'm incapable of making a decision, I'm not executing willpower, I'm not even interested in discipline, and I have no concept of what delayed gratification is. But if I'm choosing not to smoke today because I'm choosing to pursue a bunch of other things, to some extent, I'm going to have to be determined. To some extent, I'm absolutely going to have to accept and practice delayed gratification. To some extent, I am going to have to exercise some degree of willpower. And this is an awesome thing. This is so exciting when it comes to choosing to quit smoking weed. You're choosing to build upon attributes, characteristics, and traits that make people very successful in most endeavors that life throws at us. I'm not just talking about business or entrepreneurial or financial endeavors in that situation. Having those traits, having those characteristics is always a positive thing. Choosing and it forcing discipline also is the execution of excuses. It's the eradication of excuses. When I am actively making a choice to quit smoking weed, I no longer have the excuse of addiction as a disease. I no longer have the excuse of, relapse is part of everyone's journey, relapse is part of my journey. I no longer have the excuse of I've hit rock bottom and I don't have the resources to get back up on my 2 feet. I don't have the excuse of I'm not in control. And I think the less excuses we have in life, the more we try and exert control over situations where we are capable of having control, I think the happier, healthier lives we're going to live. A life without control is a life where you're just blowing in the wind like a leaf, just going whatever direction the wind is going to blow. And I find that to be extremely depressing. So it was these 5 benefits of choosing to quit smoking weed that led to a huge shift in mindset for me. Now, if you wound up enjoying this content, again, be sure to check out the pinned comment or the video description. There's a link there with a bunch of free resources and downloadable PDFs. And there's also information on our one-on-one addiction mindset recovery coaching programs. We also have group coaching programs, and if you join that or you do a one-on-one group, you get access to a WhatsApp conversation where myself and other addiction recovery coaches are constantly going back and forth trying to help people quit, as well as the form that our recovery coaching group exists on. We go live twice a month inside that form answering questions for you guys and all that stuff. So check out that membership. It's $4.97 a month if you're interested.